Classic Restos, proudly brought to you by Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Classic Restos. Of course not possible without the continued support from Shannons Insurance. Now from an enthusiast standpoint, where would we be without Shannons? They offer us just so much. Why not pick up the phone and give Shannons a call on 134646 for a quote? But apart from a quote, Shannons offer us just so much more, like a 10% multi-policy discount if you add your home insurance to your current car or bike insurance. They also have a very comprehensive website. It's detailed and you'll be there for ages. You can also sign up and become a member to the Shannons Club. Check them out online at shannons.com.au. As a part of my lengthy stay in Pennsylvania, working in conjunction with Carlisle Events, today I have something incredibly interesting to show you. I have travelled around 2.5 hours north of Carlisle to a gorgeous place called Boyertown. Behind me is an original manufacturing plant known today as Boyertown Museum of Historic Vehicles. The evolution of the business located here mirrors America's changing transportation scheme. In the factory, begun by Mr. Swinehart in 1872, horse-drawn carriages, farm and delivery vehicles and sleighs were built. After 1914, bus and truck bodies and other commercial and military vehicles were made here as well. Production ceased in 1990, but the original 1872 shop became part of the Boyertown Museum of Historic Vehicles. Now, going into any museum can be quite amazing, but when the museum is an original building, that just has to be extra special. They know I'm coming, they can hardly wait to see me. Hello? As soon as you walk into their timeless presentation of the foyer, you soon realise that a company name often seen on the Warner Brothers cartoons is true. There was indeed a company by the name of Acme. And when you read the history of Acme, the ever-versatile concept of the company is very clear. Acme was founded in 1892, not yet concerned about automobiles, but more bicycles. Acme prided themselves on not just being mere assemblers, but to manufacture every part themselves. 6 bicycles in their first year, 43,000 after 8 years. Acme decided to build motor cars in 1900 through to 1907, flaunting the slogan, from steel bar to finished car. In the early 1900s, the Acme brand changed to SGV. Beside me here, the 1912 Roadster. Back in 1912, supporting a price tag of $3,500, equating to around $82,000 in today's economy. This car wasn't for the faint-hearted, certainly not aimed at your blue-collar working-class man. This car was designed for the top end, for the rich and famous, back in the early 1900s. Welcome to today's show, Kendra.
Thanks, Fletch. I'm glad that you're having me on the show. This is great.
Oh, how could I not? This is incredible. Let's start with the diner. 1938. Now, look, it's always good to go into diners. Diners are cool. But when they're actually from 1938 untouched, wow.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. We're really lucky that the interior is almost all original to 1938. That's almost unheard of. So it's great to have it here. It's a great example of that architecture.
So tell us the story behind it. How did you guys get it? Where does it come from?
Sure. Well, the diner used to be part of a larger restaurant called Fagley's, and the owner had built his restaurant around it. He essentially cocooned it. For about 53 years it sat like that, and that's why it's in such good shape still. When the restaurant closed in 2003, another group had it rescued. They had a crane lift it out top, and it eventually came here, and we're very happy to have it here. It's inside, it's protected from rain and snow and ice and all those nasty things. So.
Now, Kendra, as I look around, a 1976 trolley car. Would you like to tell us about that?
Sure, Fletch, let's check it out.
This trolley car, what's the story with this?
Yes, the trolley is a 1976 Dodge mobile home chassis. And the Boyertown Auto Body Works, and their factory building is what we're standing in right now. They built the body on it to look like a nostalgic trolley from days of long gone.
Okay, so to put me in the picture, bodybuilders, that's the main priority here. So the manufacturers would send their rolling chassis here, and the people here at Boyertown would build the bodies to suit.
Yes, they did chassis, any make, Dodge, Ford, International, Mack, anything.
Now, Kendra, the history of this trolley car, where did it do most of its work?
This is one of the first 15 trolleys that the Body Works built. They built it for Fairmount Park, which is in Philadelphia. It's one of the largest parks within city limits in the country, and it's one of the oldest. And to celebrate the bicentennial of the United States, Fairmount wanted new buses to take people through a tour of the historic city. And Boyertown submitted a bid using this trolley design, and that's who won. And they did build trolleys for other parts of the country. This was just the first, and they had success with Fairmount. They went on to build more. It wasn't as successful later on, and actually the trolleys are probably one of the reasons the Body Works went out of business.
Yeah, this is amazing. I just noticed up there, Kendra, we've got a very nice woody Chrysler. Are you going to tell us about that?
Of course, it's beautiful. I'll tell you all about it, Fletch.
1948 Town and Country by Chrysler. Extraordinary little stories, not the type of stories that you'd ever jump out of bed of a morning thinking about. They're just lost and forgotten, aren't they?
Oh yeah, definitely. This is probably one of them. Now, most of the vehicles in our museum were built in the state of Pennsylvania. This is an exception, but it still has a local connection, and that's why
Tell us this local connection about this car.
Sure. The founder of our museum, Paul Hafer, was also at one time the president of the Body Works, and before that he was a designer. And Dodge actually had asked different body makers all over the country to submit designs for a body that used metal and wood. Paul submitted 3 designs, and one of them was called the Town and Country. And eventually the project got moved to Chrysler instead of Dodge, and Chrysler said, you know, we're not going to farm out the bodywork anymore. We're going to do the bodywork in-house, which was not the original plan. But Paul, we really liked your name, Town and Country, and we're going to use that on our car. It's not quite the same design that he did. It's not too different though. But they kept the name, and Chrysler still uses that name today. So it's still with us.
I hope you're really enjoying today's episode of the Boyertown Museum of Historic Vehicles. And of course, it's a big thanks to Shannons Insurance. Why not give Shannons a call on 134646 or visit Shannons online at shannons.com.au. Don't go anywhere. I'll be back with more incredible stuff here in the museum right after this. Welcome back. Just when you might think you've heard of every car or seen every car, boy, aren't we all wrong. Kendra, a 1918 Biddle. What's the story?
Well, Fletch, Biddles are pretty rare. In fact, I don't know of too many more. We have 2, actually. We're very fortunate. Biddle was built in Philadelphia, and it's named for the Biddle family, which was a very prominent, very moneyed family in Philadelphia at the time. And they built really large luxury vehicles like this one. I mean, this is a small one too, so, and it's pretty big.
I mean, you can see the build quality in it. I mean, the thickness of the metal used in the fenders and across the tops of the doors, and just the way it's finished, you can tell it's a top-end car. It's quite surprising in the early 1900s how many top-end cars were about. They put so much research and development and manufacture into these cars, yet some of them only lasted 2 or 3 years and they were gone.
Yeah, and that was Biddle's problem. I think Biddle was around maybe 5 or 6 years. Now, one of Biddle's problems, as far as I know, is they assembled a lot of their cars. Very little manufacturing was actually done at their site, so I think that kind of led to some of their problems.
We still see the timber wheels painted as well, the craftsmanship there. I love the sleek fenders. Of course, we're in the era of the running boards, so typical to that time. What's interesting too, the instrumentation down on the floor pan as opposed to up on the dash. That's I've never seen that before.
And I don't know why. I don't know how that's any more practical or useful.
Maybe it's the sport theme where, sit low, look low, but I don't know. Kind of takes the safety aspect away, taking your eyes off the road to look down there at your gauges.
It's funny, especially with the younger people that come in here, how many safety features are not on these cars. It wasn't a consideration back then. They didn't have to put these features in. So they look at these things and it's like, well, they're death traps. Well, they didn't care about seatbelts and they didn't care about turn signals all the time and the laundry list of things that they didn't have to do.
All right, moving through, innovative people, very interesting. Charles Duryea. Now, this man's got a good story.
He does. He is given credit for building the first commercially produced car in the United States. Him and his brother, Frank.
I don't reckon many people would know that.
Yeah, his name has kind of been lost to time, unfortunately, although kind of his own fault at the same time.
It was his own demise, right?
Yeah, not a good business person and very stubborn.
So when did he start and how long did he last?
Well, him and his brother built their first car in 1892. They did that in Massachusetts, actually. And then they fought and never worked together again. And Charles moved to Pennsylvania, to Reading specifically, in 1900, and he built in Reading until 1908, and then tried again in Philadelphia in the 19-teens, and that was the end. Yeah.
Okay. This the car on the end, what's that called?
The very, very end, the little three-wheeled strange car is a Duryea Gem. That was the one he built in Philly. It was his last attempt at car production.
Is this the car that he actually went broke on?
This was the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak. This was the end of the line for him.
It's not the best looking thing, is it?
It's not. He really thought, though, it was going to revolutionize the way we used automobiles and the way we looked at them. It's more like a motorcycle hybrid almost when you look at it.
Yeah, God rest his soul. It just didn't work, did it? How many did he make?
Well, we've read that he made 12, but I got to tell you that we don't believe he made 12. We think he only made 3.
Now, the green car, the second one in, what's the story on that one?
That's called a buggy auto, literally, and that was his second Reading, Pennsylvania design. He went bankrupt, actually, in 1907 and totally redesigned his cars and went back to more of a high-wheeler, carriage-looking type automobile, which used to be popular, and he thought it was reliable and would get him business. It didn't.
Oh, dearie me. How is it powered?
It's got a little 2-cylinder gasoline engine inside.
And obviously, too, before the steering wheel, we're still using the lever.
Well, interestingly enough, that's one of the reasons he lost a lot of popularity. He did not believe in the steering wheel. He thought it was a fad.
1906 Phaeton. What can you tell us about this car?
This car is almost all original, except for the wheels. They had been redone, but the rest of the car is completely original, what it would have looked like. It's got a great folding rear seat, which probably about half of his models had. It's the only one that we have, though, that has the folding rear seat. So
it's an incredible transition, too, when you look at the structure of the vehicle, too. I mean, it really is horse-drawn technology, right in that early stage of putting some type of power plant. They must have been at their wits' end to work out what way to go, whether to go steam, gasoline, electric. It must have been an incredible time for them back then.
Yeah, Charles was always into the gasoline engines, but it's amazing, even in this area, how many steam and electrics were being built too. It's the age of experimentation, which makes them so interesting to me.
Okay, we've got a 1900 and a 1904 pneumatic tyres. Now, that must have been a great step forward for Charles.
Yeah, most cars at that time were still using the solid rubber kind of buggy style tires. He goes to that later. One of the reasons he does that is, even though his tires were ahead of their time, they couldn't match the roads. The roads were so poor, and it was not uncommon to get a flat every 10 to 15 miles.
So he had pneumatic, then decided to go back to solid again to overcome that problem.
He does that to sort of address some of these problems that he was having earlier, which...
He's kind of decreased the comfort level, but he's picked up the durability.
Right. If he would have maybe come out with his early cars 10 years later, maybe there wouldn't be so many problems. But he was a little too ahead of the curve, perhaps.
The college town of Carlisle, Pennsylvania is an absolutely beautiful tourist destination. If you would like to see some of this amazing area of the United States in conjunction with one of your favourite car shows, you may be looking at joining a Fletch Tour. We're taking expressions of interest now for 2014. Send me an email via classicrestos.com.au. Now, military vehicles are always quite popular on Classic Restos, and in the last 12 months we've had quite a few. No exception to the rule here. What's the deal on this one, Kendra? I know it's a 1941 ambulance.
This is Boyertown Auto Body Works body on an international chassis. That means it was built right here, literally where you and I are standing, where it's sitting. This is where it came to life.
Oh, isn't that amazing? Just to picture the workmanship, the guys working in goodness knows what conditions, you know, building these trucks right where we're standing now, all these years later, and looking back, that is just awesome. Now, where did you find this truck?
Actually, a gentleman in California owned it, and we think that's why it survived, honestly. Every ambulance that was built here was sent to the Pacific Theater of World War II. Nothing went to Europe. So we think that it made it all the way to California to get shipped over and then wasn't needed, and that's why it survived. There's only 2 of these left of that we know of in the United States.
If you really enjoy TV show Classic Restos, the DVD boxed sets are available and they make fantastic gifts. Also, there's other Classic Restos merchandise as well, available at classicrestos.com.au. I hope you're really enjoying today's show. Back with more after this. Welcome back. In 1936, you could enjoy purchasing your meat and your groceries from door-to-door salesmen out of a Ford truck such as this. Trucks just like this walk-in butcher shop on wheels offered fresh-cut meats and groceries delivered to the home, providing the housewife with convenient shopping at her door. She could even shop inside the truck, out of the rain or the sun, buying meats from an ice-cooled sanitary display case. This Boyertown built step and serve type store at your door walk-in truck body is mounted on a 1936 1.5 tonne Ford flat face cow truck chassis. It has a V8 engine and dual rear wheels. The body is framed off air-dried oak and an ash hardwood, structurally framed with hand-forged steel braces. The exterior is panelled with 20-gauge cold rolled steel. The roof is covered with heavy duck canvas coated with special aluminium paint. The interior is lined with porcelain enamelled sheet metal and is equipped with a Bally maple chopping block and display racks for canned goods. The step-in area provided full stand-up interior height and had a bus-type entrance door controlled by the driver. With me now we have Brendan, the National Training Manager, Penrite Oil. Now, Brendan, tell us, what do the numbers mean on the front of the oil? You go and buy oil, what numbers should we go for? Tell us.
Okay, Fletch. Well, the numbers are very easy. There'll be 2 numbers on the front of a bottle of oil. One will be preceded with a W after it. The W stands for winter. That's the cold viscosity of the oil. It's actually how the oil will pump when it's cold, and it's measured at a certain temperature depending on what the number is. The second number is the operating temperature of the oil. Generally, the higher the number, the better the film strength or thickness in the oil when the oil's operated at hot, which is actually measured at 100 degrees centigrade.
Okay, so lower the number, more late model cars, tolerances, clearances?
Yeah, generally find the lower the first number, newer cars will take a lower viscosity oil, and that's because they have overhead valves, multiple cams, etc., and it's all up the top of the motor, so it's got to be able to pump quickly to get to the top of the engine. Whereas in your older cars that have got camshafts down the middle of the engine and lifters and push rods, etc., they will generally use a higher viscosity oil.
Okay, so when we talk our classic cars, that's why the HPR 30 range is popular, right?
It's a great product for the older type cars. It's about a normal starting weight for those cars, and it actually has a higher heat range than most other oils as well.
Brendan, what's the go with mineral and synthetic? And when should we use a mineral oil? When should we use a synthetic oil? What's the deal there?
Mineral oils are derived from crude oil, which is dug out of the ground. And generally synthetic oils you'll find are man-made, which are man-made in the laboratory. Generally you'll find older cars will use mineral type oils. More modern cars with tighter tolerances, lower viscosities are probably more suited to synthetic type oils.
And tell us the deal on the zinc.
The zinc's an anti-wearing agent that's put into oils. It's probably not true that zinc's been taken out of oils. Some of the later specification API oils actually had to have lower contents of zinc in it, because zinc can also be a detriment to the catalyst in a car, such as your catalytic converter. It can actually kill them. So late oils and low SAPS oils have lower levels of zinc in them than what the more traditional type oils do. Oils such as HPR 30 are actually very, very high in zinc and are very, very good for the older cars.
Now, some enthusiasts have been adding a zinc additive to their oil. There's just no need to do that, is there?
With Penrite, no, there's not, especially with products like HPR 30, because it contains over 1,700 parts per million zinc in it already. So you've actually add too much zinc to an oil. What it does is it actually upsets the balance of the oil. So other things inside the oil don't do what they're meant to do when the engine's running. Fletch, there's two types of coolants. There's a Type A coolant and a Type B coolant. Type A coolants have what you call antifreeze, anti-boil as part of their makeup. Type B coolants do not. They're actually just an inhibitor that stop the internals of the cooling system from rusting.
We see a pink coolant, we see a green coolant. Now, what's the go there? When should you use pink? When should you use green?
Okay, for starters, the colours of coolants are actually a dye. But generally in Australia, what you'll find is a pink coolant will be what's called an oats type coolant, which is organic acid technology. That's what it stands for. And the green coolants are hybrid coolants, which use organic and inorganic properties.
Now, the major sponsor has a tech line number. You can find out that number when you visit the website classicrestos.com.au. Click on their logo, you know who they are. Thanks, Brendan.
Thanks, Fletch.
Behind us looks like a 1928 LaSalle.
Yes, this is one of the nicer cars, probably, aesthetically.
Have a look at this. What a classical old girl, eh?
It's absolutely beautiful. It's got the great sweeping fenders and all that classic design from the 20s. It's beautiful.
The Roaring 20s, what a time.
Indeed, really flashy cars. And it's great to have a flashy one here amidst a lot of more work type vehicles, so it kind of sticks out in a good way.
Yeah, back in the days where if you're a very clever businessman or you were very wealthy, $1 went so far. I mean, we saw our diner earlier today in 1938 where you're buying pork chops for 60 cents. Wow.
This is a lot of pork chops, I think.
Absolutely. So what's the rundown on this? Why is it here in this museum, apart from it being sensational?
Well, exactly. LaSalle is not a local company and we do local transportation. But again, this has a locally built body. This body was built by Fleetwood Metal Body Company in Fleetwood, Pennsylvania, just about 10 miles away from us now. And similar to the Body Works, they only did the bodies, but different from the Body Works, they did luxury car bodies. Very high-end things, and they would do, LaSalle's, Cadillacs, Rolls-Royce. They built Rolls-Royces for Rudolph Valentino. So those are the kind of clientele that we're talking about here, royalty, the rich and the famous. The customer could design this car, really. These were all custom built. You didn't pick them off of a list. So this was designed to work along with the customer. And this one in particular has a special cabinet just for your golf clubs. So we do know that an avid golfer had this car.
I just want to thank you for your cooperation here today. You've been with me all day walking around here and I really appreciate your time. The curator here at Boyertown Museum of Historic Vehicles, you do a wonderful job, and yourself and the volunteers, really well done.
Thank you. We have a great core of staff and volunteers here. We're so glad you joined us today, Fletch. You'll have to come back.
Well, that's okay. You've only got to ask me once.
Please come back again, and hopefully we'll have more to show you too. It'll change.
Okay. Thank you very much, Kendall.
Thank you.
Well, I hope you've really enjoyed today's episode of Classic Restos here at the Boyertown Museum of Historic Vehicles. If you'd like to find out more about this incredible museum, website details are across the bottom of the screen right now. Don't forget classicrestos.com.au. That's the website that you need for the DVD boxed sets of the show, along with other Classic Restos merchandise as well. While you're there, don't forget to have a look at the major sponsors. Click on their logos on the homepage to be directed to their websites to see how they can help you. As I say at the end of every show, no matter where you're watching Classic Restos from, until next week, please ride and drive safe. I'm Fletch, and I thank you very much for watching.
Don't forget to like Classic Restos on Facebook. Facebook.com/Classic Restos TV. And episodes can be seen at Shannons.com.au.
Classic Restos, proudly brought to you by Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts.